A family in Colorado living in fear, as they have for the past 24 months, because of a nightmare they are still living through. They're speaking out only to 2020 about how their family unraveled with the ultimate betrayal.
They have gone from pictures of a marriage to pictures of murder. But what took place between those two extremes for a man who came to believe that revenge was a word in his wedding vows? Right next to Honor and Obey. In Colorado, the storms can be brutal, but it's human fury that does the most lasting damage, the kind that leads to betrayal and even murder. Against that kind of storm, not even the most loving family can keep you safe.
I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have said more. I wish I would have spoken up.
It started with a young woman's dream of love. Amara Walter was 26 when she met Chris Wells.
She had just become a flight attendant for United, and I think she was on the rebound, and he said all the right things to her that she had wanted to hear.
Warm and upbeat, Amara took people at face value. Chris was 10 years older, a former weightlifter and Chippendales dancer. To Amara, he seemed romantic, confident, charming. She flew around the country, and the postcards flew between them. She wrote him, "I love you, baby, and I'm so excited about our busy and crazy new life that's ahead of us."
It happened so fast. It was a very short courtship.
They eloped and married in Niagara Falls. Eventually, they settled near Castle Rock, between Denver and the Rockies. Things seemed great. Chris got a good job at a used car dealership financing loans. Amara was surrounded by family. Her sister Melissa and Melissa's husband were nearby. So was Chris's sister, Tammy, who lived in a neighboring town with her daughter Madison and her husband Bob. Amara and Tammy formed an instant bond.
Wasn't like it was my in-law. She was my sister.
They all gathered every other week for Sunday dinner at Amara's house, except for Chris. He was in the family portraits, but he was never really part of the family. Amara's brother-in-law, Ed, didn't like or trust Chris.
He struck me as, a guy who thought a lot of himself. Very big ego. He seemed to like to control the situation, whether in conversation or just interaction with Amara.
Even Chris's sister Tammy felt uncomfortable around him.
Chris was always distant, always in another room working. When he was around us, it was always so intense, almost like he was on something.
But on the surface, life was fine, and the birth of her daughter in 2006 brought Amara joy. Chris was devoted to their child, but with Amara, he became more critical and controlling.
It got to the point where she felt like no matter what she did, it was never good enough. He always would leave sticky notes around the house, all over the cabinets. Do this, pick up this.
Chris began acting strangely. He quit his job at the used car dealership. He said he was starting a new business and would disappear for hours, even days, on mysterious trips.
I knew that there was something peculiar going on. He was constantly sniffing. He was constantly on edge. He was always saying that he was working, and it just didn't add up.
Then Amara stumbled onto what Chris was really up to.
It became clear that he was involved in crystal meth and had this double life that he was leading.
It was the last straw for Amara.
She was worried about her safety. She was worried about what he could do. You could sense he was very angry and that it was escalating to a completely different level.
She separated from Chris, and with her 6-year-old daughter found a new home with Chris's sister Tammy and her husband Bob.
Bob and I were adamant about her coming to live with us. It wasn't an option to go home because we were worried about her safety.
Everyone knew Chris would take it badly. Her sister Melissa had no idea how badly.
He called and said, "I just want to let you know that I packed up everything she has and I left it at the bottom of Tammy and Bob's driveway."
Amara and Melissa drove home to find dozens of garbage bags in the driveway.
All of a sudden, I heard her scream. She was standing there holding her wedding dress. He had sliced her wedding dress and urinated across it and wrote a profanity.
In a violent rage, Chris had destroyed every single thing Amara owned. He even cut up her mascara.
She was left with absolutely nothing. The destruction was like an 8 or 10 hour crystal meth rage.
Amara called the police.
She said, "I'm scared. I think he's gonna kill me." And the police officer looked at me and he said, "He's not gonna stop until he puts a bullet in your sister's head." And at that point, I knew what was gonna happen.
Amara got a restraining order against Chris, but he ignored it, sending her abusive and threatening texts over and over again, sometimes 50 times in a single hour.
He would start off by calling her all these awful names and just completely belittling her, and then next thing you know, the next text is, "Oh, I love you, baby, we can work on this."
He was harassing her and would not leave her alone.
She told me flat out, "He's gonna kill me. And if he doesn't, he's gonna have someone kill me."
Each time Chris violated the restraining order, Amara contacted the police.
He would get arrested, he would go in with money, and he would bond out. He just felt he was above the law because the law was not keeping him in jail.
In fact, the law was helpless to stop Chris.
We were getting contacted from Amara saying, "We're afraid Mr. Wells is going to come kill us." And there was really nothing the police could do.
Chris's sister Tammy and her husband Bob felt threatened as well. Bob slept with a shotgun, and they came up with a plan if they were attacked. They rehearsed how each one of them would exit the house and escape in a different direction.
My mom and my dad had taken her in, and they had helped break his control over her. He wanted to gain control again, and he couldn't do that if we were still there.
Chris Wells was arrested 3 times in 6 months. Then, on February 23, 2011, he was arrested again. This time, he did something unusual. Instead of calling a friend to bail him out, he spent the night behind bars.
We all kind of had a full sense of security that night because Chris was in jail. I was out of town on business, and I was talking to Bob on the phone. He said to me, "Things are getting bad, and I have this feeling that we need to take some much bigger steps and measures to protect ourselves." It was just